Hi and welcome to card number 3. So this sunflower card is an easel card and it will stand up against the sentiment piece here on the inside of the card, and it will lay flat for posting. So that will just pop up like so. So we're going to make the background first, and this is you could use either your bumblebee or crushed curry ink. Either one will be absolutely fine. And we're going to do this background effect using either a piece of acetate or a silicone matte, so something non-porous, like something shiny. A large block or a Stampin' plate will also work for this technique. So we're going to take the shimmery piece of cardstock, or you could use watercolour, and we are going to I'm going to use crushed curry. I'm going to just pop a bit of ink onto the mat, and you can give that a spritz, or you can give it a sort of a swoosh around with a paintbrush. So if we get some water on there and kind of dab it around. You can even sort of pat it, or use another piece to just get that all nice and inky. And then we're going to face the paper down on to the mat. So it's every background will come out looking different, and like on this one I've put quite a lot of ink on there compared to the original, which is more splattery, but I'm happy with that. I like these edges, so I'm going to move that out of the way and I'm going to let that dry. So whilst that's drying, I'm going to stamp the sunflower onto the spare piece of card. So this is going to be stamped in Memento and then coloured with blends. And we also need to fit onto this spare piece of card a single sunflower, and that a small one, I mean, for inside, and some extra little leaves. So these are the tiny leaves that are the two together. Just going to have some of those as well. So that's all the stamping that we need. We're then going to colour. So I'm sticking to the same colour blends as we've used on the previous two projects. So Daffodil Delight and the light cinnamon cider. So again, just pop the colour on there. So this is all light Daffodil Delight, just to start the colour off. I swap to the smaller nib just for those tips of those petals. That's all the yellow. We're going to add the yellow onto this, the light Daffodil Delight, just to get a base of the yellow on there. working around each of the petals. And then I'm going, oh, I'll do the dark on this as well, so just add a touch. And then shade that and blend it. And you can either use the lighter blend or the darker blend, depending on how bright you want your sunflower to be. So you can blend that in a bit more. And that's the dark Daffodil Delight. Just grab the bigger tip actually and just add a bit more blending, and then the centre, so dark crumb cake and then a touch of cinnamon cider. And then just blend that out. And then for the final bit of colouring, we've got the green. So we've got the old olive. So then you can cut or die cut those out. So there are dies in this set for each of those, the leaves and the flowers. So I'm just going to cut those out. 3. I've got the leaves, the flowers and the larger sunflower. So you will also need to, if you haven't got the kit, you will need to then cut out the outer edge die in gold foil, and then that will line up with your stamped image. Now the way to find the easiest way to line these up is look for those 3 sort of downward going leaves, 1, 2, 3 here, where it's kind of more ruffled on the image, and they will line up. So if you look for those and line them up, then you'll get the image straight on there first time. So we're going to put a little bit of glue in that centre, just on that bit. So we're going to line that up a bit higher there. So we'll line that up. Love that gold. Gorgeous. Then we will pop these. So these are Old Olive, just die cut, and then those are Mossy Meadow from the dies as well. And I'm just going to put a touch of glue, if it will come out, on the edge there. And I'm going to leave that sort of more loose. You could glue that down more if you wanted to. Stick on there. I have also cut out one of each of these in Old Olive. So there's a double sort of sprig and there's a single one in the die set, and they're both Old Olive. So we've got those as well. Got ourselves a little sentiment piece. That's 1.5 centimetre by about 11 centimetres. And then the nested label, it's not the largest, it's the second largest. And that is just going to sit on your watercolour piece, but we're going to just chop that left hand edge off. So I've just cut that to where the point tapers away, so that we won't use. This is going to go directly onto the card, and it just gives a bit of a white layer to add the sunflower onto. And everything else then, I'm going to put the sunflower and everything on dimensions. So I need to open out a new packet of dimensionals really. This one is coming to the end. Right, just using all the edges up. So you can have that whichever way you want. I want the ruffles to the sort of that edge. And then these leaves can just tuck in, so you can either wet glue or glue dot. I have one there and one just coming out from below, and then a couple of extra sprigs. I'm going to cut them a little bit shorter. Just so they tuck in there, and one just gives it a bit of extra texture, doesn't it? It just gives it something else. So that's now nicely on there. That's now going to stick onto a single piece of the cinnamon cider. Now this piece here is 10.5 by 14.8, so it's the same width as your card base. So the card base is half a sheet of cinnamon cider, so 14.8 scored at 10.5, and then half again of that top panel, so that is scored at 5.25 mil. So 10.5 and then this in half makes that fold. So this is going to be the bottom of your card, or like the inside part there, and then this will stand forward like that. So I'm going to put this piece of Whisper White in to the inside of the card. We are going to stick glue onto this piece and pop this panel, which is the same size as half of that, onto this front section. So glue just on that part. there's no glue on that bit, and that will be ready to stand up like that. And we're going to then put our sunflower panel that we've made onto the front. It's going to go on there. If you wanted to, you could sort of split the sentiment out. You could have maybe thanks and then a bunch inside. I was quite happy with this staying plain with no sentiment on the front section, but I wanted the sentiment inside. So, but it's your choice. So if you want to swap it around, that's fine. So this piece here is what we're going to prop the card against. So this is where the sentiment's going to go. We're going to do thanks a bunch. There is let's celebrate you as well. So if you wanted more of a birthday card, then you could swap the sentiment. So thanks a bunch. I'm going to put that on some dimensionals, so that'll give it enough of a ridge for it to sit against. I've got some edges of dimensionals I want to use up, so I'm going to use that strip. And then you can sort of hold and decide where you want that to be. So I'm going to prop that sort of there, and then just make sure that that is straight. So that's how that easel card will then sit. So you've got it sitting against like that. And just give that a good crease. That will then sit down, or should do. That crease needs folding as well. I'll give that a good crease as well. There we go. That's better. Just make sure both your folds are creased. Then we want to use these little bits to decorate this front section. So like we did on the previous card, we're going to cut the sunflowers in half. So I am going to cut that way, and I'm going to have a little bit of glue on there, and then just tuck that under there, and you could kind of push one in slightly further than the other if you wanted to, so they overlap slightly differently. Or just trim it. I'm just going to go like that, and then just for a bit of extra dimension, too much glue on there, so I'll steal a little bit of that for the other leaf. It's going to go there, and then maybe have another one on that edge, or up here, maybe here. Have that one. I might trim that a little bit. Pop that under there. So there we go. So you've got like a little collection on the front there, which is a nice little surprise when you open the card up. So there you have. So a nice swooshy watercolour background on an easel base. So you've got space to write your message in here, and it will still fold flat to pop in an envelope. So I hope you've liked that card. Thank you so much for joining for this class, and all the measurements for both centimetres and inches are on the PDF instructions as well. Thanks so much. Bye.